Welcome back everyone. This is my follow-on video to the first video I was doing about the delay in pulling a trigger and the motor spinning between BLHeli and SimonK. Now not BLHeli 32 and S, that's still up for debate, haven't tried that so I can't comment on that. We did manage to finally figure out how to flash these DSY30s. They came with SimonK, but like at the end of the previous video, they were limited to 25,000 RPM, which was useless. And with the help of Walker and Matthew on the Facebook, after a few days I did manage to figure out how to flash them. I would say it's not easy at all, but you could say that's the same thing about BLHeli. What I would say is there seems to be actually useful videos on how to do it in BLHeli, but to get SimonK, because it's kind of an old archaic thing now, it was not easy. But if we, I could make a video, or someone could make a video, and I guess we could all do that. So, now the really exciting thing about this video is that since I was able to flash these, I was able to flash these with BLHeli and the latest version of SimonK. Well, I don't have the latest version, but a newer version. So that really does answer the question about BLHeli versus SimonK, because then it's got nothing to do with the hardware if you're just changing the software. So as I mentioned, I managed to flash them, and so the speed limiter is no longer there. Whoa! Which makes it usable. Nice. So this is going to be mainly numbers. So I after flashing them with the latest version of SimonK, I retested their delays because I wanted to know if reflashing them actually made them faster or slower or had any impact later on. The short answer to that is it did make them faster, but I cannot guarantee that that was not as part of me charging the battery, which I'll get to soon. So as in the previous video, I had a good one and a bad one. That's supposed to be a B for bad. And this did get slightly faster. This did it in 79.13 milliseconds versus the good one, which is what we have somewhere in this mess. Somewhere, oh yep, there. Which did it in an amazing 24.99 milliseconds. Now that's really within the margin of error. So I mean, it was taking one frame from going from stop to started, but averaged out to be 1.5 frames. So that is pretty much what you'd call instantaneously on, I would say. This one's definitely not. Now I was hoping that reflashing it would fix that, and that obviously wasn't the case. It still remains. So there's obviously some kind of hardware deficiency or whatever that's creating that delay. Now of course we've only got two, so we don't know, / I don't know, if it's normal that they take 80 milliseconds or is it normal that they take 25 milliseconds, because I've only got two to compare. So if I bought 100, is the anomaly the one doing it at 25 milliseconds, or is it the anomaly of the one doing it at 80 milliseconds? That I can't answer. All I can say is that as predicted, there was a difference between the ESCs definitely running on SimonK. And I'm not sure how / what that would be like when you actually put the weight on the wheels and pulled them with the delay. Would kind of result in you kind of moving the gun a bit. We then flashed them with, no we didn't, I'll take that back. I then put 4S on there because I wanted to see if increasing the current and voltage had any impact on the spin up time. Now this really answered my question about whether or not flashing it made it faster or potentially giving it more juice. Well, I guess it didn't actually answer it. It just meant that you couldn't be sure, because going from 3S to 4S on the bad one reduced it from the 79.13, or let's call it 80, down to 66.64 milliseconds, or 67 milliseconds. So it did take less time to respond with higher current slash higher voltage, which because that was on my massive beast of a battery. Yeah, whatever. And remind me, we actually talk about that later on with BLHeli. So I then flashed both of the ESCs to BLHeli with the same as what I run on these, and got interesting results. It took 136.6 milliseconds for the bad one, and for the good one it took 136.61 milliseconds. So essentially exactly the same time for the good and the bad one, which is interesting. Now I tried that on 4S and it didn't affect how long it took to boot up or start spinning, and I'm pretty sure that 136 milliseconds was the same it took for these guys in the previous video. So we can pretty much say that 136 milliseconds is what it's going to take. I did try changing some settings in BLHeli and I wasn't able to improve that. I didn't try changing all of the settings. I tried changing some of the obvious ones. So what does that all mean? That all means that on the same speed controllers, BLHeli does impose a delay, and that delay does depend on the quality of the hardware. So that in our example ranges between 56 milliseconds from the bad one to the good one of 111 milliseconds. That is, BLHeli is taking longer than I'm lost now. Too much talking. So that's 111 milliseconds longer than SimonK, because they're both going to take a certain amount of time. So that is a fairly definitive answer on the delay imposed by SimonK slash BLHeli. You could say it's still open for interpretation because we've only got 2 EECs and one had quite a larger gap than the other. So it would have been nice to try more. And this is a comparison, like I said before, between BLHeli, not BLHeli S or 32, which may completely change that, and I'd love to do that. So there you go, guys. Hopefully that was interesting and not too much blah 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 blah. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.